We back in this, and what I want to talk with y'all today is, you know, you can see the title, but what I do want to talk to y'all today about is Drake stealing Nine Vicious swag? Okay, so why I feel like this topic came to my mind was because I was listening to the new Drake album, right? So was that Iceman? He dropped three different albums. I've listened to it. I just want to stay on the topic of Iceman, right? So Habibti and Maid of Honor, that's really not in discussion. But Iceman is where I want to keep the topic on. So I listen to Drake. I've listened to Drake for a long time, like everyone else. And Nine Vicious, he's been out for a while too. And I like his new album, Emotions, and I like the other one. I think it was Before Emotions or whatever, as well. And some of his other albums, he drops like, I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 albums a year. He goes through it. So I listen to a decent amount of his music. I'm not going to say like I'm, a super huge fan or anything like that, but I have listened to his music. I'm definitely more of a bigger fan of Drake than I am of Nine Vicious. But I feel like I'm reputable in having this conversation because I've listened to both of their music and I know how it goes. So when I was listening to Drake's Iceman, I noticed a few things, right? Drake, he's always known to do, he's known to do beat switches, right? So he's done a lot of beat switches in his discography. Especially when it comes to working with Travis Scott. That's when they do a lot of that beat switching stuff, when they work together, right? So if you listen to Drake, he doesn't really do a lot of beat switches in his albums per se, except, somewhat recently, there's two people that come to mind, is when he works with Travis Scott and when he works with, what's his name? When he works with 21 Savage, right? So that's when he's been doing a lot more beat switches in his music, okay? But Nine Vicious, he's known literally for having a lot of beat switches in his music. Like literally, you listen to the song, half of the song is another beat. Like in almost every single song he makes. So this is not a new thing. Like for him, he does that a lot. And so Drake too. So that's one of the similarities, right? But especially on this Iceman album, he did a lot of beat switches in pretty much in a majority of the track. And that is somewhat uncommon for Drake by himself. As a standalone artist on his songs, it's uncommon for him to do a lot of beat switches. So that piqued my interest, like, Drake's doing a lot of beat switches. And I feel like, honestly, he's getting more inspired by Nine Vicious, me personally. So, it went up, like, another thing I noticed that kind of solidified my suspicion was when Drake started using transitions. Like if you listen to Drake, his albums, he doesn't do a lot of transitions. That's a fact. Like since the time he came out, he doesn't transition from one song to the other with the beat of the next song within the prior song. He doesn't do that. That's not a common thing. But a couple of tracks on Iceman, I think from Dust, right, to that one song, the song right after Dust. I forgot what that song is called. There's a beat switch, like literally. There's a not a beat switch. There's a what is the word called? There's a when he's what I just said. I don't know why I just forgot the word, but there is basically. He's leading into the next song, right? He's transitioning. There's a transition from Dust to the next song, and he doesn't do that. And I noticed that I think he did that on a couple of songs on that album. There's a couple of transitions to the next song. So if you listen to Nine Vicious, you know that literally all of his songs include transitions, like pretty much all of them. I'm not gonna lie, I can't name. Like he literally transitions from one song to the next song to the next song to the next song, and that's what the people who like his music like about him, right? They like the fact that he has transitions in his music, and it sounds amazing. You're just like, whoa, like what is this? And then at least the next song, you're like super hyped, like this is amazing. And I've noticed that on Iceman album that Drake was leveraging transitions from his songs to the next song. Just listen to Dust, and then listen to this next song after Dust. You'll notice the transition. I think there's even another transition after that too. I think there's probably 3 transitions in that album, which is to me a lot when it comes to Drake's discography. He doesn't do a lot of transitions. That's a fact. So to me, it seems like he was inspired by Nine Vicious for those transitions. So hopefully you guys are seeing what I'm, are picking up what I'm laying down, because it's kind of pretty clear. So if you listen to them, you'll see what I'm saying. And then what else? So the transitions and the beat switches, and then also the cartoony aspect, right? So Nine Vicious uses a lot of like cartoony aspects in his music. Like literally he did that Mickey Mouse stuff, the Mickey Mouse covers, and some of like the beats are incorporating like cartoonish type vibes. And Drake literally did that a couple times on his album. He did that one song that started off with like they were trying to rob they were masked up, and it started with some kind of cartoon, and the beat was like, seemed like it was sampled from said cartoon. And that is very reminiscent of Nine Vicious, because he does a lot of those cartoonish stuff. And he does a lot of sampling too. Drake samples as well. I'm not saying Drake doesn't sample, but I just feel like how he's sampling is kind of, or what they're choosing to sample is reminiscent of, to me, what Nine Vicious would use when sampling. I'm not saying they're rapping the same, they're not. But the music package itself is different. He's not just dropping a song on a nice beat, a hard beat, and then going to the next one with no congruity. Like the transitions, the sampling, all leads into the congruity of each song. So I'm just gonna use some of this time here to look up one of these tracks that I'm talking about. So I'm gonna look at one of these tracks I'm talking about. I'm not gonna play it because it will be flagged once I drop it. So it's Whisper My Name, right? Whisper My Name. This is a transition literally from Dust to Whisper My Name. And if you just listen to Nine Vicious, you listen to this Iceman, you'll see there are some similarities, okay? So for this discussion, for this, stream and discussion, this is really all I wanted to say. Is Drake stealing Nine Vicious swag on Iceman? Me personally, I think he was inspired by Nine Vicious because the underground scene, the youth, this is what the young people are listening to, and Drake, he wants to stay on top of his game, so he takes aspects of underground scene and youth and he incorporates them in the music. So they're liking, they like beat switches, so I'm add that to my music. Oh, they like transitioning now, so I'm add that to my music. Oh, they like whimsical, what is it called? Whimsical slicing, or in the music, I'm add that to my music, right? So that is what Drake is. Like, he does those things, and it's not far-fetched for me to believe that he was inspired by Nine Vicious. So if you guys see the same similarities, so let me know in the comments of this video, in the comments of the stream, let me know, and we will, continue to talk about some of this stuff. So go ahead, listen to both artists. They're good. If you like the music, they're just music. Don't take these things too seriously. Don't try to have them in your subconscious, or in terms of like, let them run your personality as a human being, but have your own personality, be yourself, and just enjoy some of the music, and also respect yourself, respect God, and just look at life from a aspect of where you want to grow and what you want to learn. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying some aspects of music, but don't let that dictate how you think, how you move, and the responsibilities that you have as an individual, as a person in this world. Okay? All right. Thank y'all.